What's going on, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to another video. Now, after a crazy offseason, I thought it'd be fun to give y'all my top 10 teams heading into the year from each conference. And today I'm going to be starting with the East. Now, at number 10, I've got the Orlando Magic. After finishing 8th in the East last year, they pretty much did absolutely nothing. They did fire Jamal Mosley and brought in first-time head coach Sean Sweeney. And they also let Mo Wagner walk and brought back their old friend Nikola Vucevic. So after downgrading at the backup center and bringing in a rookie head coach, I can't see this team getting any better. So I've dropped them down 2 spots from last year. And at number 9, I've got the Atlanta Hawks. Now I do like how they solidified their bench with the Aaron Wiggins and the Lou Dort pickup. But after the rest of the East got so much better, I can't see them being too much good of a team this year. I think they're kind of relying too much on Nickeil Alexander-Walker replicating what he did last year, being the best 3-point shooter in the league. And having a 34-year-old CJ McCollum running your starting point guard just isn't ideal. Now maybe if Jalen Johnson takes another offensive leap like he did last year, improves on that 3-point shooting and is on the dribble creation, maybe they can sneak into the playoffs as a top 8, top 7, top 6 seed. But like I said, the East just got so much better, and I don't think they did. Now, I do like CJ McCollum being a nice veteran guard for Kingston Flemings coming in. I think he can definitely teach him a lot of stuff on the offensive end. But in terms of being a good team next year, I've got them number 9. Now, number 8 is where things get interesting. I've got the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, I know, they were the number 1 seed last year. But let's not forget, they almost lost to the Orlando Magic, who were the 8th seed. And their second best player in that series, Tobias Harris, he left for the San Antonio Spurs, and they replaced him with John Collins. Now, I'm not saying John Collins is bad or anything, but the part of the reason they were even able to escape that first round series is because Tobias went on an 8-game streak of scoring 20-plus points per game. John Collins scored 20-plus points 8 times the whole year last year. They didn't bring in any ball handling or scoring help for Cade, which we saw was a huge problem in the playoffs. And we still don't know what's going on with Jalen Duren. I'm making this assuming he re-signs back, but even if they do bring him back at this point, the vibes in the locker room are going to be at an all-time low. Now keep in mind, I'm not predicting the standings per se, because anything can happen in the regular season. I'm basing this on which teams I think have the best chance of coming out of the Eastern Conference. So with no real improvements to the roster, honestly a downgrade, I've got them falling all the way down to the 8th best team in the East. And at number 7, I've got probably my most intriguing team in the East this year. I've got the Washington Wizards, who I think are a very complete team on the offensive and defensive end. You have 2 big men, Anthony Davis and Alexander Sarr, who can both protect the rim and can both switch out on the perimeter as well. You also surround them with a 6'8 shooting guard, Keyshawn George, and a 6'9, 7-foot wingspan, number 1 pick, super athletic AJ DeBonza, who comes in and has all the tools right away to be a good to great defender. And let's just talk about how great of a fit this is for AJ for a second, because most number 1 picks come into the league, they're surrounded by a young team with bad habits. They get to come in and shoot any shot they want, play lazy defense, and there's no repercussions for it. That's not going to happen on this team. He's coming in on a team that's trying to win games. It's going to be a competitive environment. He's got a guy in Trae Young who's one of the best playmakers in the league, averages 10 assists almost every year. Top 75 player of all time, Anthony Davis, on his team. He's coming into a competitive team, competitive environment. He's going to learn great habits right away. They've also got a great microwave off the bench, Trey Johnson, who can come in and score 20 points any given night. They got vets like Chris Middleton, a champion, who had some decent games last year. I think he'd be actually a good piece for them off the bench. And I know DeAndre Ayton gets a lot of hate, but as a backup center for this team, he's one of the best backup centers in the league at this point. Now, obviously, this team has never actually played any games together completely, but if everything clicks right away, I could see them being a top 5 team in the East. Moving to number 6, though, this is where I have the Miami Heat. I think Giannis is good enough to carry them through the regular season, and he's going to put up 30 to 35 points a night on the offensive end, and you pair him with Bam, Davion Mitchell, Wiggins on the defensive end, they're going to be a great defense. But on the offensive end, they don't have much firepower at all. I do like the Tim Hardaway Jr. signing, and shit, you never know. Bam could go off for 83 points in any single game. But besides that, they really have no offensive firepower. Maybe a guy like Pele Larson can come in, and he averaged 11 last year. Maybe he can jump up to 15, 16 points a game. That'd be big for them. But even with that, I don't see this team being a very good offensive team. So I think 6 is the highest I can go. And at number 5, I have the Toronto Raptors. Now, before I get into some of their flaws, and that's something that I don't like about them, I'm excited for those Kawhi Leonard, Scotty Barnes, and CMB, Colin Murray-Boyles. Those lineups, when those 3 are on the court together, those are going to be scary for an opposing team. 3 long, athletic wings who can basically play 1 through 5. That closing lineup is going to be deadly. But let's not ignore the fact that they do have some real big man issues. You have Jakob Poeltl starting at your center, who hasn't played over 60 games in the past 3 years. And they just lost Sandro Mamukelevsky to the Lakers, who played a decent amount of backup big for them. And like I said, I like Colin Murray-Boyles, but as a full-time backup center, I just don't love that role for him. I also just have no real expectations for Quickly or RJ Barrett besides exactly what they did last year, be decent. Maybe they can get a jump from a guy like Jacoby Walter, who shows some flashes in the playoffs that he can put up some big scoring nights. But other than that, Scotty and Kawhi are going to be big carriers of this team. Number 4, I've got the Boston Celtics. It's going to be interesting to see if Peyton Pritchard finally gets a starting spot this year. Last year, he had a career high in usage rate, but it was only at 21.5%. That's comparable to a guy like Emmanuel Quickly or even Sadiq Bey. He was sandwiched right in between them, and I think he's a much better offensive talent than both of them. So maybe with Jaylen Brown gone and Tatum coming back, a much better playmaker, much better off-ball player, he can finally up that usage rate a little bit. But coming off the bench or starting, we don't know. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they started a Shireman or a Hugo at the 2 with Derek White at the 1. Speaking of Hugo, though, they're definitely relying on him, Baylor Shireman, and Jordan Walsh to take some steps up this year. Especially when some of those guys were untouchables in the Giannis trade. If they're not significant bench pieces this year, there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of pressure on that Brad Stevens front office. We also can't forget that Derek White shot 39% from the field last year and 32% from 3. Now, like I said, Brown's gone, Tatum's in. He's a much better playmaker, so maybe he will get some easier shots. But we even saw in the playoffs, he was missing some wide open ones that he usually makes. I'm assuming he's going to have a bounce back year. It's probably just an outlier year for him, but we never know that. They've also been talking about how they're going to change their offensive philosophy so much throughout this offseason. So it's going to be interesting to see how they transition away from this Mazzulla ball, chucking up 53s a game. I do love that backcourt with Mitchell Robinson and Amias Queta, though. Probably one of the most complete start to bench backcourts in the entire NBA. No matter what, you're going to have a good big on the floor at any time. And yeah, it was an odd trade, but I do think Paul George does fit kind of seamlessly in with this team. He can create by himself sometimes, but at this point in his career, he's a very, very good off-ball player. So with all that being said, I've got them number 4. And at number 3, I've got the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese is coming back from that injury. They just traded for Zubac, who is going to be a very good defensive anchor, roller to the rim, and rebounder for them. I do have some concerns with him, though, because they are a team that likes to run up and down, and he's not really that type of guy, I feel like. I do think the positives outweigh the negatives, though. In addition to what I already said, he's a great screener as well. And if he gets a mismatch down low, Tyrese can find him and he can put the ball in the basket. I think them having like a consistent lineup for the past couple years helps as well with Tyrese, Nemhard, Aaron Neesmith, and Siakam there. You still got TJ McConnell off the bench, knows the system. Obi Toppin is very good for them off the bench. I think that definitely plays a role into knowing each other and playing with chemistry. So with adding Zubac, I don't think it's going to take too long to fit in because everyone else pretty much has good chemistry already. They also added Kelly Oubre in the offseason too, so that's also a very good pickup for them off the bench. Come in, knock down some threes, play some decent defense. I've got them number 3. And then number 2, I've got the New York Knicks. Yep, I know they were the defending champion, but I think losing Mitchell Robinson is a bigger deal than people think. He's not going to be able to come in and bail Karl Anthony Towns out when he's in foul trouble anymore. He came off the bench and was one of the best energy, rebounding, defensive bigs probably in the NBA, the best backup center for sure. And you replace him with Andre Drummond too. By any means, he is not a bad backup center, but he's pretty much just a worse Mitchell Robinson at this point in his career. Other than that, there's really not much to say about the Knicks. I mean, I'm excited to see Mo Diawara get some more minutes, and they could easily be the best team in the East next year. But, man, you know who's number 1. I'm buying into that 76ers hype. It's the first year since his MVP year that Embiid has not had any type of surgeries in the offseason. He is coming in fully healthy, and he ensured Ron that he's going to be healthy this year. They got the best starting 5 in the NBA, no doubt. Now they got 3 real bench pieces, and Anthony Simons, KCP, and Dean Wade. Man, this team's going to be scary. And don't forget, KCP, he's got that chemistry with Bron. He won the chip with Bron in that 2020 bubble. Putting that all together, Jaylen Brown's trying to prove the haters wrong. Embiid wants to win the championship. LeBron wants to get one more before he goes. Shit, I don't even got to mention Tyrese Maxey. He's one of the best guards in the NBA. And with VJ Edgecombe rounding out that starting 5, I've got the 76ers as the number 1 team in the East. Let me know what y'all think though. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you finish this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Peace.